All right, today we're going to be looking at how to selectively color parts of an image on the Express version of Photoshop Online. So we are going to start by just dragging in our photograph. We're not going to start with a canvas on this one. We're just going to bring the photo into Photoshop Express by dragging it in. And once this loads, it will load our base picture as just layer one. Okay. It's pretty intuitive. It already knows, hey, you're probably heading in this direction with a picture like this, and it would be right. So in this image, you can see there's a lot of reds and neutral tones between her skin and her sweater. And then the blue really pops in her eyes. Well, we're going to create a more artistic approach to this image by making the entire photograph black and white with the exception of her irises and her eyes that are colored blue. So we are going to start, okay, by coming up here to the layers and choosing adjustment layers, black and white. And what this is going to do is black and white the entire image. So when it gives you this properties bar, you can play with these sliders. For example, because there's a lot of red in this picture, if I adjust the red, it's going to really change how dark it is. I'm actually going to darken this down a little bit because I want that blue to pop even more when I go to bring the color back through, okay? So when you add an adjustment layer, you actually get two boxes. The first box is the actual adjustment that's being made, the black and white, and the second box is what we call a mask. So a mask is what allows you to either see or not see the adjustment that's been made. So we can turn the mask on and off using the brush tool. So you can either come over here to the toolbar and click on paint, or you can click the B as in boat button on your keyboard to activate the brush. Now here's our brush. Couple things you need to know about the brush, okay? You can increase and decrease the size, okay? You can also use the keyboard shortcut on your keyboard with the bracket buttons. They are just to the right of the P button, as in potato, okay? So left bracket makes the brush smaller, right bracket makes the brush bigger, okay? The next thing you need to know is you can control how hard the brush is. So what that means is you can see the edge on this circle is what we call very hard. It's sharp, okay? It's either in the circle or it's out of the circle. There's no blending to it at all. So if I use this brush, the circle is almost perfect, right? But that's not really how things are in like nature and life and reality. So you can actually decrease the hardness of the brush, and you can see the example circle is getting very fuzzy around the edges. So if I use that, instead of having a super harsh circle, I have a circle that kind of fades into the skin. So what we're going to do is we have our brush activated. When we are painting on and off of a mask, and be careful you are on the mask square and not the black and white square, black is going to paint the mask away, meaning you're going to get to see color again, okay? White is going to paint the mask back. So I want to show you that for a second. If I take a white brush, well, actually, I can't do that right now. Hold on a second. I'll show you what I mean. If I take a black brush and I paint across her forehead, I can now see the color of her skin coming through. If I switch and I have white and I paint over this, the color goes away, all right, because the mask is now fully back on. So I want to take away the mask over her eyes where the blue is. So I'm going to kind of line it up the best I can, and I'm going to click and bring that color back through. Now her eyes are looking great, but if I zoom in, I can see I'm picking up some of the pink pigments and hues from her skin. So I am going to reduce the size of my brush, and I'm going to switch over to white, and I'm going to start to kind of paint over these areas where that pink is poking through, and just clean this up a little bit so that the color really is only in her eyes. Okay. All right, so that looks a lot better. So now we have this blue coming through. It's really really vibrant. But this is where you get to be a little bit creative with your Photoshop and treat it like really a piece of art. So I'm going to come up here and I am going to choose adjustment layers again. And this time I'm going to choose hue and saturation. Now what this is going to do is allow me to control the color that's coming through in her eyes. Now I could control the saturation and bump it way up and you can see her eyes get super blue, like unnaturally blue. If I bring the saturation all the way down, her eyes are black and white because I'm saying there's no color in here at all. Okay, so you can control how much that color is popping that you have selected. The other thing is you can change the hue. So if I wanted to get real creative with this, okay, I could change her eyes to any different color. And the color of her eyes really changes the feel of the picture. Like if I have something kind of like this, it's feeling a little bit more mermaid, fantasy type thing, right? But check it out if I take it all the way up to like a red hue. Now I'm like kind of got a vampire villain vibe going on. So you can kind of get creative with how you edit and adjust the colors in your image and how you want those colors to come through. Okay. Now this same concept can be applied to anything in any picture. Okay. You can paint on and off the mask around whatever objects you're wanting the color to pop through. And that is what you're going to be doing with the Color Splash project, is taking your own picture and then black and white the entire thing, and then select an object or objects to bring the color back through to create a really nice piece of art. Good luck.